Here are my top 10 fantasy sleepers for Week 11, delivered by Papa John's. Coming in at number 10 is Alex Smith. He's a nice option against the Cardinals. Their defense has allowed an average of over 16 fantasy points per game to quarterbacks. At number 9 is Chargers wideout Vincent Brown. With Malcolm Floyd still injured, the rookie should see more than his share of targets against the Bears. Kendall Hunter is my number 8 fantasy sleeper. He could see more work with Frank Gore at less than 100%, and the Cardinals rank 21st in run defense. At number 7 is Ryan Fitzpatrick. He has struggled of late, but the Amish Rifle faces a Dolphins defense that's allowed the 5th most fantasy points to quarterbacks. Coming in at number 6 is Damian Williams. He scored a touchdown in 2 straight games. This week he faces a Falcons defense that ranks just 23rd against the pass. My number 5 fantasy sleeper is Maurice Morris. He has flex starter appeal against the Panthers. No team has given up more fantasy points to opposing running backs. Coming in at number 4 is Earl Bennett. He's a great option against the Chargers. They've given up the 2nd most fantasy points to wide receivers since Week 6. My number 3 fantasy sleeper is James Starks. He faces a Buccaneers defense that's given up over 90 combined fantasy points to running backs in their last 2 games. Denarius Moore is my number 2 fantasy sleeper. He's a solid option against the Vikings. Their defense is 30th against the pass, and they just lost Antoine Winfield for the season. My top fantasy sleeper of the week is Brandon Jacobs. He'll see plenty of carries this week against the Eagles. They've allowed the 6th most fantasy points to opposing running backs. Remember to check out NFL Fantasy Live every Sunday morning starting at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time on NFL.com. I'm Michael Fabiano, and those are my top 10 fantasy sleepers for Week 11, delivered by Papa John's.